Raquel? Raquel? Right. Okay. All right. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. I'm Arturo Aldama. Sorry I have a little bit of a scratchy voice. This temperature changes from almost snowing to hot and all this stuff. My cuerpo, my body was like, Anyway, doing the best I can. This is the day in the Department of Ethnic Studies that we look forward to all year long because we've worked with all of your amazing students. We've got to know them in our classes, done in some cases projects with them and so on and so forth. And today we get a chance to meet all of the amazing people, the familias, the families, the support networks, all the people that are important to the lives, the academic leadership lives of these amazing students. And so we're really, really excited. We have a really amazing program today. We're going to have some poetry. We have a former alum, total rock star, former honor students coming back to share some of our closing comments. And so with no further ado, let me introduce Dr. Natalie Avalos, who teaches Indigenous Studies for our department, who will do the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement. Dr. Avalos, gracias.
Welcome. It's so lovely to be with you all this afternoon, evening. So this land acknowledgement was actually developed by some members of our faculty. Ultimately, we want to take a moment to acknowledge that the lands we gather on are actually traditional territories of ancestral and ancestral homelands of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho peoples, as well as many other Native American nations. As for myself, I'm a Chicana with indigenous ancestry from Mexico. I teach Native and Indigenous studies, and I think about indigeneity in the borderlands. And so I think it's important for us to reflect on these histories of forest removal. To think about the devastating and lasting impacts that it's had on not just Native people, but really on the US in general. Well, the University of Colorado Boulder can never undo or rectify this devastation that was wrought, that was essentially imposed on Indigenous peoples. As a campus community, we're very committed to improving and enhancing engagement with Indigenous peoples locally and globally. We do this by recognizing and amplifying the voices of Indigenous Seaboulder students, staff, faculty, as well as their work. We also do this by educating, conducting research, supporting student success, and integrating Indigenous knowledge into the classroom. We do this by consulting, engaging, and working collaboratively with tribal nations to enhance our ability to provide access and culturally sensitive support to recruit, retain, and graduate Native American students in a climate that is inclusive and respectful. We also really seek to ultimately envision what it might look like to build a world beyond empire together. And, you know, as we celebrate these graduates, many of them, their work contributes to this vision. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nishant Upadhyay. I'm the Associate Chair of Graduate Studies, and it's my honor to talk more about our graduate program, and then bring on stage folks who have just recently finished their PhDs. So our program in Critical Ethnic Studies is about 12 years old. It's very new, and we're still trying to figure out what the program is, but it's been a pleasure and an honor to see so many amazing people graduate over the years. We are one of only 5 programs in ethnic studies in the country, and the only one which is not on the West Coast. And so being here in the mountains, we're doing a lot of work that to unpack these questions about what does it mean to think about race and ethnicity and colonialism here in Colorado. Until Trump came into power, we had all our students would find amazing jobs, and as you know, everything that's been happening in the last year and so, and how the attack on academia and specifically programs like ethnic studies, race studies, gender studies, we are in very difficult times right now. But at the same time, it's really exciting to see the scholarship that our doctoral students produce and the work that they're doing and their commitments and investments in thinking about a different world. So with that, I'd like to invite back Dr. Arturo Aldama, who's our chair and who'll be introducing the 3 doctoral students who are graduating this semester. Thanks.
All right. So the first PhD student we want to highlight is Dr. Raquel Hernandez Guerrero. The title of her dissertation is "We Are Here to Remember, We Are Here to Create, in Wombed Indigeneities, a Lunar Poetics of the Uterotopic." It's a beautifully written dissertation. In fact, I can't wait to help you turn it into a book. And then I'll turn it over to the co-advisor for Dr. Hernandez Guerrero to share some words about Raquel.
So I actually wrote a letter to you, Rocky, because I was trying to figure out what to say. You know, Rocky and I started in this department at about the same time. When I joined the department, I was a postdoc, and you had first come, and we met during the grad welcome. And I remember chatting with you, and we just clicked. And she had such great ideas. And every time we would talk and meet, we could just talk for hours, really. We never really had hours and hours, but we could just talk and talk. You know, her work is so fascinating because it intersects religious studies, which is my area of training, Chicana and indigenous feminisms, and healing, also my areas of training. And her dissertation, it's titled, "We Are Here to Remember, We're Here to Create, in Wombed Indigeneities, a Lunar Poetics of the Uteropic." Ultimately, Rocky invites us to think about the womb as a site of sacred knowledge production. You argue that this embodied knowledge unfolds over the course of a woman's life in ways that actually align with the lunar phases. In this sense, the womb is a creative portal that tethers one to the earth, to the cosmos, to the very core of life-bringing itself. It's been such an incredible honor to walk with you on this journey, Rocky, like really. Not only as your advisor, but as, you know, your friend. And of course, it's no mistake that we're both now in our dark moon phases, right? Perimenopause. So you didn't think this would be a discussion about menopause? It is. So may we enter this realm of grounded wisdom with much ease. Continue to nurture the gifts that this phase of life and loving brings. Congratulations, Rocky.
And then, Nishant, you want to do the hoodie? Yeah? Let's do it together. So this is from the medieval times, the hoodie and stuff.
Maybe you should stand.
Yeah, stand over there.
I think it goes.
Doctora Hernandez Guerrero! There we go.
Nice one.
There we go. Wonderful. All right. Woo, 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 woo! Next up, I want to invite Jacqueline Mora Manso. Unfortunately, her co-advisor, Joanne Belknap, who recently retired, was in court all day doing kind of advocacy work for migrant cases, trying to keep people out of GOIs and stuff. So anyway, she asked me to do this. Come on up, come on up. I want to go ahead and read her dissertation and then just share a personal vignette of Jacqueline. So the title of Jacqueline's dissertation is Transforming the Lives of Youths Through Sacred Responsibility. Jacqueline is working with system-impacted, indigenous-identified, Latina, femme-identified youth to create kind of a safe space to help them develop a way to how to live in this world. I remember Jacqueline, because Jacqueline was an undergrad here back in the day, one of our rock stars. And I think you were a sophomore then, maybe. I remember in one of the classes she took, she looked up to me and says, "One of these days, I want to be a professor." And I'm like, okay, cool. And here these days have come, and so she graduated BA with us and then went and did her master's in Mexican American Studies at San Jose State, worked with a good friend of mine, Jonathan Gomez, working again with trying to create support networks for our jóvenes, our youth that are dealing with issues of criminalization, racism, hostility, sexism, misogyny, all of these things, and trying to create ways to heal from trauma. So you are a rock star. You are a rock star. There we go. Yes. All right. And then we'll do the hoodie, and hopefully we'll get it right this time, right? There we go. Yay. Doctora Mora Manso. Woo! Doctora! Woo! All right. Okay. Next up, we have Jose Vasquez Zarate, who's the title of his dissertation is From the Guelaguetza of Oaxaca to Colorful Colorado, Exploring Indigenous Identity Across Racialized Transnational Spaces. Jose comes from, I think, one of the most important indigenous communities in Mexico, the Zapotec and the Chuntal, and brings his knowledge as an indigenous scholar to understand how folks from Oaxaca are trying to maintain who they are as indigenous peoples here in Colorado, working and so on and so forth. So doing really, really exciting work, and I can't wait for more. His project post dissertation, which I can't wait to read, is to do a whole project on indigenous sports. So it's going to be super, super exciting. And Jose has won awards teaching for us and the whole nine. So felicidades, and let's give a huge round of applause to Dr. Vasquez Zarate.
Thank you. Gracias.
Ya eres doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Avalos, you want to come and introduce our rock star valedictorians? So why Dr. Avalos gets on the stage to introduce. We do the valedictorians here a little bit differently. Traditionally, it's just whoever has the highest GPA, yeah. But we care about the communities in which we live in, and we care about the world. And so the way we think about valedictorians is both academic and community leadership. So I'll hand it over to Dr. Avalos.
So I'm so proud of this first student. Juliana McDonald, please come on up. Where are you? So Juliana took one class with me, and it was so obvious within weeks that, they're just incredibly gifted, and they are so sharp, but also someone that you could tell was going to do big things with their life because they were a deep thinker. They had such empathy. They had such insight. I'm so proud to be able to, recognize you in this capacity. Our other valedictorian is Jasmine Perez. Jasmine. So it's so lovely to have you both. We were able to have two valedictorians, and it was so fun to be able to put them together. They're different students, but they both are so well deserving. And just for a few words about Juliana, she says, you know, I played both ice hockey and rugby during their time here at CU, went to the national championship for rugby this fall. They also traveled to Peru, and they did incredible work in Peru developing Spanish, but also Quechua, which is incredible. This is a very difficult language to learn. So very proud of you. And Jasmine, just a few words about Jasmine. Jasmine is a participant of the Arts and Sciences Honors and Honors Scholars Program, the Multicultural Leadership Scholar Program, as well as a prospective law student at the Sturm College of Law. Clearly an incredibly hardworking young woman. So we want to honor both of them today. And I just want to invite up, let's see, we're going to do the presentation of majors. So maybe we'll start with Sean. Oh, they are. Thank you.
We don't have to,
No,
but
please sit back down.
So firstly, we'd like to say thank you. To start off, we'd like to express our gratitude for everyone who is here today, to the families, friends, and loved ones. No one here today could have done it without you, and for that we say thank you to all of you. And to our fellow graduates, we are so proud of you and honored to walk with you this weekend.
It is so surreal being here today. I can vividly remember my first day of undergrad crying, literally for days on end, I kid you not. So I'll correct myself. My first days of undergrad, crying, being so scared to start the rest of my life. And now I stand before you all today, being so scared to leave.
And for me, I began my college journey as a duck at the University of Oregon, though I'm sure the anxiety of starting college anywhere is the same. I transferred UO to trade the rainy days for snowy ones, but apparently some of the cold Oregon rainy days had followed us to Boulder this week anyways. But I remember that feeling that graduation would never come. But here we are, we made it. And I didn't manage to figure out my entire life in college like I thought I would. I stand here today anxious about what awaits for my future.
Maybe just anxious in general,
Right,
because being up here, I promise you, is terrifying.
And as some of us have learned in class, public speaking is one of the most common fears people have.
But whenever I feel scared, which I promise you is often, I try to remind myself of these affirmations.
I am capable, kind, and resilient.
I can do scary things.
I am worthy.
I will make a difference. I didn't and honestly don't always believe in these sentiments. I can't even begin to tell you what these past few years have held for me. And sitting in classes with so many of you, I know I'm not alone in feeling the brunt of everything college had to offer from time to time.
Sometimes I wasn't even sure that college was for me. I felt lost, confused, and burned out. But everyone's college journey looks different, and we have to create a path that works for us in our own time.
I actually came into college already declared as a political science major, not because I had some crazy, profound attachment to it, but I knew I wanted to go to law school, and I thought it would serve as a great foundation.
And anyone who knows me knows I have never had a clue what I want to do with my life, much less what I want to major in. Now, some might say this is because I'm a Libra, but I promise you I simply don't know the first thing about astrology, but it does provide a great excuse. I tried out several disciplines: international affairs, archaeology, art history, you name it.
Either way, we felt a distinct lack of something that our previous educations weren't fulfilling. I thought maybe it was just the heavy atmosphere around us.
The world we live in today, families being torn apart by ICE, violence becoming normal in the news, climate change, widespread food insecurity, all of the atrocities and injustices we see and experience in the world.
I sought out ethnic studies to give me some reason as to why the world operates in such a disgusting and oppressive way. I went looking for answers, but unexpectedly found a community. I found peers to share that heaviness with, and people who made the world a little less ugly and a lot less scary.
Sharing the burden showed us that, however paralyzing fear may be when you feel it on your own, it's all by design. The world operates in a way that becoming isolated by fear keeps things the way they are. But there's really power in community and within each other.
To be able to sit with someone, or in our case, a classroom full of someone's who understand, to debrief, to listen, and if we're feeling a little frisky, to laugh, means the fear isn't all so consuming anymore.
But as I've been told a lot recently, no one really knows what they're doing, and no one's really got it all figured out. But we show up for ourselves, for each other, and for our communities. There is strength in love, and there is power that we hold together. So keep going, show up for yourself and your community, and let your voice be heard.
And in preparation for tomorrow and all the days after it, probably just as terrified to leave as we were to start, I hope you let yourselves be scared moving forward. And moving forward in spite of it, because you'll never know what you'll find on the other side of fear.
So to all our fellow graduates, you are capable, you are kind, and you are resilient.
You can do scary things,
You are worthy.
and you'll make a difference.
Thank you.
Hey, hey, what's up, everybody? I am Dr. Sean Trinell O'Neill. I am a professor in the Department of Ethnic Studies, obviously, and one of the Africanus. I mean, this is amazing. I love this day, and it's always so beautiful to see all the support, family, friends, sisters, brothers, grandmamas, grandfathers. I mean, just running the gamut to support the students. It's absolutely amazing. I feel amazing. I wore the James Baldwin t-shirt. I got on the Wu-Tang Clan socks. I mean, it's on, y'all. It's on. So the first student I want to invite up here is Danielle Reyes. Where you at, Danielle? Danielle, what's up? So good to see you. Wow, okay. So, wow, this is great. So as a student, Danielle's been on the Dean's List multiple times throughout her 4 years at Boulder. Of course, she has. That's right, yeah, give it up. Danielle was honored to work at the mayor's office for people with disabilities in Chicago for the past 2 summers. When Danielle and I met, we realized, oh, we both from Chicago, because I actually grew up in Chicago as well, so it was on. We hit it off right away. Just a fellow Chicago native here in Boulder doing the work. In Foundations of Comparative Ethnic Studies, Race, Gender, and Culture class, Danielle was able to make a zine for her final project of the many resources on campus, which she's been able to utilize for her peers in class, friends, campus residents. Danielle was a resident assistant on campus for 3 years. Wow. She's so grateful to be able to study abroad and learn about Australian history, culture, and oppression. Danielle is a double major. I still don't understand how y'all double major. I mean, I just don't. That's a lot of work. And she plans to use her ethnic studies and sociology degrees to continue working with people with disabilities and hope to make a positive change in this world. You've already made a positive change, but I know there's a lot more to come, so absolutely. All right, all right. Next, we have Anastasia Gallegos Roque. There we go. We got the, oh my gosh, look at that back there with the sign. Oh, they doing it for you. They are doing it for you. Wow. So who is this whole crew? That's just everybody, huh? Wow, okay. So during Anastasia's time as a student, she balanced a wide range of commitments and accomplishments. I remember talking about that with you a lot. She worked 2 work-study jobs at the Center for Leadership and TRIO Student Support Services, while also maintaining 2 internships, including one at the state capitol under the Lieutenant Governor and another as a social media intern with the Multicultural Leadership Scholars Program. Anastasia expanded her global perspectives by studying abroad twice in India and Cuba, and actively engaged on campus by participating in over 15 programs and clubs throughout her undergraduate experience. I'm just blown away. I didn't do any of this stuff as an undergrad. I was so lazy. Looking ahead, Anastasia plans to take a gap year to study for the law school admissions test and apply to law school, while also jokingly aiming to reach more connections on LinkedIn. You need to help me with that. As Anastasia closes this chapter, she's proud to mark personal milestones such as completing her year as a Civic Newman Fellow and receiving the Women Who Make a Difference Award. Wow. Yeah. So all the students that I'm speaking for, they're all in my Theory, Method, and Writing course, Theory, Method, and Writing Ethnic Studies. Really intense course. And Anastasia did her research on what she deemed sportswomanship, like looking at the way that BIPOC women in sports just have a much tougher road. I mean, it was an amazing piece of work. So yeah, there we go. Absolutely. Oh wait, don't forget this. Yeah, you can't go to law school without that. All right. Next we have Jade Cortez Vargas. Jade. So when I first met Jade, I was like, Jade? And Jade was like, no, it's Jade, like Sade. And I was like, oh, okay, we good. Yeah. I'm like, no, this is going to work. So remember that? Jade plans to take a year off and gain experience in research and psychology. She would like to go back to school to get her master's or PhD. Get that PhD. We need you. We really do. Seriously. During Jade's time at CU Boulder, she was able to be part of a research experience through the Lit Lab and Student Academic Success Center. She says that these moments were special to her, and Arturo and Angelica, who is not here, allowed her to expand her knowledge. So in the theory methods and writings course that I teach, she did this whole thing, and she tried to slip in this thing about monarch butterflies as like if it was nothing. And I was like, well, wait a minute, what is this? What is this about the monarch butterflies? And we had a lot of discussions about it. And so her final research being about monarch butterflies crossing borderlands, Mexican-American identity, so personifying monarch butterflies into the very human experience of border crossings. I mean, it was one of the most creative projects I'd seen, and it was really, really beautiful. So thank you for letting me experience that with you. Okay, let's get our valedictorian back up here. Juliana McDonald, where are you at? Did you leave already? Oh, okay. It's like she just bounced. So, a few things about Juliana. As aforementioned, Juliana played both ice hockey and rugby during their time at CU, and then went to the national championship for rugby this past fall. What up? That's what I'm talking about. Wow. They traveled to Peru, developing their Spanish and an introduction to Quechua language and culture. Juliana, again, was in my theory, method, and writing an ethnic studies course in the fall of 2025. And that was, it was great to be with that group of students that particular fall, because we were all really, really struggling, all of us, myself included, emotionally, cognitively, particularly with a fascist regime demanding to run our lives. And it just felt like we were all there for each other. And the students were there for me, I was there for them, and it all worked out just so beautifully. And Juliana's intellectual research and writing, it's the type of analysis that's gonna help us build an actual 21st century that we all deserve to live in. That's why they're one of the valedictorians, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right. Okay. So we've got one more, and I will get out of y'all's face. Isai Fuentes, where you at? Oh. This is awesome. I remember last fall of 2025, I was working some student event for undergrads. And so I was supposed to be meeting and greeting with undergrads. And he walked up, and we ended up just having a conversation for an hour at least. And I was like, kind of like, sorry, forget the rest of y'all. This is where it's at right here, talking to this gentleman. And it was absolutely just such an enriching conversation that I'll never forget. We talked about so many things, and I know that in life he's going to go out and have these types of conversations with people to enrich others' lives as he has with mine, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah. All right.
So I'm going to introduce a couple more majors. And the first is Marlena Nava Jorn. Marlena, come on up. So Marlena is so wonderful because she's an incredible writer. And I first had her as a student in the intro course for the major. And I remember working with her a bit on her writing, and I saw this incredible progression just that semester. And then she took 2 other classes with me, and I just saw her ability just skyrocket. So in the comments that she shared, I'm going to share a few things that she wanted to share about herself. She says, I've learned so much in the ethnic studies department. She's really thankful for her classes here. It's influenced her research, her activism in the community. She actually does this incredible research. She's an assistant, she's a research assistant in the Latina Chicano Oral History Project locally, which is partnered with Rooted Pathways Leadership in Boulder County Parks and Open Space. She was nominated and received the Local History and Preservation Award this year in 2026, which is amazing. Her future plans to become a writer. She wants to use her background in ethnic studies and creative writing to write both political and personal poetry, which is such an incredible intersection. She says, as Audre Lorde says, poetry is not a luxury, it's a necessity. She also plans to write sociopolitical essays, decolonial writing. She hopes to develop and publish some scholarly books. Ultimately, she wants to make it accessible to the public. She wants to use her strengths to express herself and seek justice for marginalized communities. She wants to create and dream and work towards a more equitable world. And she wants to take a couple years off, which is great. You should only do that before she comes to grad school and pursues a master's and a PhD in either ethnic studies or American studies. Of course, we would be so happy to have you, Marlena, in our department. She's thinking she might be a professor, maybe not. We could always talk more about it. But she wants to stay rooted in her community. So she wants to honor that she is the granddaughter of Mexican immigrants, Maria and Nicolas. She wants to honor the legacy of her Hispano blood. She wants to be able to critically study and work towards a better future, especially because her grandparents moved here and sacrificed so much to create a better life for their children and their grandchildren. She wants to thank her mom, her dad, Lorena and Mick, who are here. Where are they? They're right there. For supporting her unconditionally through her college journey. She says, I would not be here without them. I'm forever grateful to have caring and supportive parents. She wants to thank her grandpa, Granville, for helping support her financially through this journey. And finally, she wants to thank herself for giving, herself the work and allowing her mind to expand and grow, which is so beautiful. Congratulations, Marlene. Okay, so the other student I'm presenting is Abigail Cifuentes. Abigail, come on up. Abigail, it's such a pleasure to be able to announce your graduation. It looks like Abigail has done quite a bit on our campus. You've worked as in the Office of Pre-College Outreach and Engagement, which sounds amazing, like quite a bit of work. You've also worked in the Engagement and Student Success Program as a coordinator, which again, that's quite a bit of work as you're doing your undergrad. Abigail, is there anything else you would like to add or maybe thank someone while you're up here?
I was the president and treasurer of Pi Lambda Chi Latino Sorority Incorporated during my time here at CU Boulder. I was a peer mentor leader through the Bridge Scholars Program, and I luckily got to study abroad as a Ghost Scholar to Buenos Aires. And I would like to thank my parents and my older sister, who's an alumni of CU, and who introduced me to ethnic studies at CU, as she minored in it and graduated in 2020.
So I want to congratulate Abigail on the behalf of the department. Great job.
So I want to invite the Hazmin, our valedictorian, back up. Yeah? So I want to make a slight change from what was said earlier about our amazing rock star valedictorian student, Hazmin. Hazmin is no longer a prospective student at DU College of Law, but you're going to be starting in the fall, right? Yay! And in fact, our invited former alumni who's going to be doing the closing remarks also went to DU. So we have a really nice track record of some just phenomenal rock star students like Hazmin, who's gone to DU, who's using law to actually fight for the rights of people, right? The rule of law, believe it or not, which we need it in this day and age. So super, super excited about what's next in your life. It's exciting, so. And it's cool that, a lot of students will take kind of some time off between law school, but you're going straight to it. Because I imagine you feel a need to get the legal training to be able to start pushing back on all the horrible things we're dealing with all day long, right? ICE and, the complete disavowal of any kind of legal precedents to enact, to quote my colleague, Dr. Upadhyay, is just we're living this kind of fascism that's trying to be imposed on us, which is horrifying. So I'm glad you're there to do the good fight. So great. Cool. Let me hand this to you. All right. So I apologize in advance, Halea, but I pronounced your name in kind of Chicano Spanglish. So anyway, so next up, Halea Dashiell. Halea is part of a really amazing tradition. Some of our just absolutely amazing students we've had over the years are veterans who have, put their lives on the line working in the armed services. We have currently someone in the armed services here in this audience, Jacqueline's brother. I remember you when you were super young, you were thinking about coming here and all that, so I'm glad you're in the service. So anyway, so Halea is just, I'm in awe of how brilliant Halea is, because Halea actually has an engineering degree and she's already going to be going into a master's in computer science. And she came back to get her degree in ethnic studies with a specific focus on African American studies. And on top of that, I don't know if you're aware of this, Halea is an amazing poet and performer. So I hope, you know, as you have time, you'll start also expressing. Part of what Halea's kind of a project is, which is so needed, is she wants to really get into the heart of what we're living with AI right now and start pushing back on all of the racist, misogynist, homophobic things that are kind of behind the kind of meta logic of a lot of what we're seeing right now in artificial intelligence. And she's not going to just attack it like, ooh, this is horrible, but attack it as a computer scientist to actually understand the programming, the code, and be able to push back on all of the things we're currently living. So super, super exciting of the work you're going to be doing and super needed. And yeah, we need a lot of pushback right now. So you're a rock star. So let me go ahead and hand you the certificate. There we go. Ta-da. There we go. There we go. Okay, so yay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Melissa Arellano Ramirez. Melissa, woo! Melissa's going to be sharing this beautiful poem she wrote for the senior seminar that I taught this semester. I don't know if you're aware that if you know that you're a poet, but you're an amazing poet, Melissa, so I'm super excited. So, Melissa is super excited. I can't wait to support you whenever I can. Also wants to go to law school and to actually work on providing the rights for immigration law, for folks trying to survive, trying to get naturalization, trying to prevent detentions, all of these things that are super, super needed right now. So super, super excited. Unfortunately, there's a really horrible 4-letter word for law school. It's called the LSATs, right? Not a cuss word, but a lot of people cuss usually because it's super intense because you got to get a really high score in LSAT to get into law school. So anyway, that's the 4-letter word. So congratulations, and I can't wait for what's next in your life, Melissa. Thank you. Yay. All right. Is Mia Torres here? Mia? So, I'll wait for you here. ¿Cómo estás? Hey, glad you're here. So I had Mia Torres in the senior seminar, kind of our capstone class last semester, and one of the kind of required essays was looking at kind of the student struggles in East Los Angeles and comparing it with the student struggles in Tucson, Arizona, trying to push for, in the case of East Los Angeles, Mexican American Studies in 1968. In the case of Tucson, Arizona, fighting for an ethnic studies program in the high schools that was actually, you know, the kids that were in the ethnic studies program in the high schools had a 97% graduation rate, and most went to four-year colleges on scholarships. But unfortunately, the patriarchs of the state of Arizona decided ethnic studies was somehow un-American, and they banned it. They made it illegal, and so the students kind of fought back. Anyway, I mention all of this because Mia's paper, you know, especially coming from Los Angeles, from that particular community, just had such a power to it, just a real power. Like you could just feel it. It was a beautiful, beautiful paper, and super excited about the next steps in your life. Congratulations and felicidades. So, yep. All right. And then finally, where's Aristotle? I saw you here earlier. There you are. So I imagine your parents are here, yeah? Yeah, I'd love to know what the backstory is by giving your son, the name of Aristotle. That comes with like presents, no? Like, yeah. So Aristotle being, typical overachieving rock star, ethnic studies, 3 minors, 3 certificates, double major, and then I was also going to go is also studying the 4-letter word, right? Next year, the LSAT, right? So that he can also enter into the legal world. Aristotle wants to go into corporate law, which is exciting. It's just super, super exciting. So I love it when our students want to become lawyers. So it's exciting. Congratulations. Yep. Thank you.
Hey, I have the pleasure of giving diplomas to a couple students. It's really a joy. I see a lot of the students that I have in class who are earning a certificate. I'm director of critical sports studies along with being a teaching professor here. And so, and this is my 12th year here. I was in a meeting recently and started talking about what institutional knowledge I had, and it made me feel old. But what I really love doing is teaching students and getting the opportunity to bridge the knowledge of sports with other areas of their lives and use sports to understand I'll just say the horrors that persist, but also learning about the resilience of so many figures and how we'll make it out of it. And so Faith Kudawo. They not. Okay, so Eden Colber. Is Eden here? So Eden had to suffer through 3 classes, right, with me, yeah, and so and it was always a pleasure. And one of the joys I really get out of teaching these classes and being able to teach student athletes, and then getting these cool experiences where I'm at sporting events and I get to see them perform what they do so well, including captain of the cheer team here. And so having those experiences and also knowing just the history in cheer and with, like many institutions, just not only the racism, but Eden represents the progress that has been made in these incredibly dedicated sports. And I believe you're going to continue in cheer, right? And continue along with pursuing healthcare in LA after doing such incredible work here, having Eden in my Olympics class, and then my African American experience class, and then recently in my class that looks at vices in sport. Just having that perspective of student athletes is something that really adds something to classes and really adds something to my teaching, so I can learn these experiences and what's going on the ground as I teach about these complex issues within sports. And so I look forward to the great things you do and continue doing, and both in healthcare, and I assume I'll see you on ESPN and other networks doing great things in cheer. Will you be coaching, or will you be?
I'll be trying out for the Rams next year.
As an Eagles fan, that hurts me a little bit, but it'll be fun when we beat the Rams to see Eden cheering on. But best of luck in the future as you travel back to LA and do incredible things, and I look for you on TV. Congratulations. Yeah. Faith, are you here? Oh, there. Okay, there we go. Sorry, Faith. I'm so sorry. I tend to mumble. So I had Faith, was it 2 years ago in the African American Experience course? Yes. And so I remember, and as someone who probably about 50% of the papers are about Jackie Robinson, your paper really stuck out in terms of, and it means a lot that a paper, everyone thinks they watch 42 and knows the history, and you did an incredible job capturing the life and the complexity and resilience of Jackie Robinson, but also to have students with such diverse majors, because biochemistry, right? And so having people going into these incredibly and things that make my mind spin thinking about, I crack open a biochemistry textbook, my eye starts to twitch because it just, things that I don't understand. And so bringing those knowledges and bringing that perspective into class is something that really adds to class and really adds to my knowledge and experience. And so you're, I believe, going to continue in healthcare, continue in medicine. And so really bright future, and I really look forward to seeing what you do and having the pleasure of having you in class. And so many congratulations for this, and just so proud of what you're doing. And again, just all of you students, including Faith, I mean, doing multiple things, juggling so much. It's just such a pleasure to be able to teach it, and just such intelligence that I get to interact with on a daily basis. And Faith, you're part of that. Thank you.
Okay, so that those were our majors, and now it's my honor to announce the minors in ethnic studies. So if you're in the room, when I call out your name, if you can just stand where you are, and we'll give you a round of applause for graduating with a minor. So the first person is Abby Atiogbe. Atiogbe. Are you here? Alex Wilson. Lisa Merrival. Aridana Olivas, Eva Ratner, Ella Catania, Faith Cordavo, Gabriela Woodland, Georgina Lopez Valle, Jamie DeStefano, Joey Hench, Lupita Sanchez, Madison Price, Molly Allen, Rachel Wagner, Shoshana Greenblum, Terrace Griffiths, and lastly, Joey Painter. Okay, thanks.
So it's my pleasure to announce our scholarship winners. Our department gives 4 scholarships every year. And I'm on the committee to help decide them. And, you know, it's so hard to decide because students do such incredible work. You've heard just over the course of the last hour, hour and a half, the different things that students do across campus. So our first scholarship will go to Marisa Benton. Is Marisa here? No, maybe not. Okay, well, we're gonna honor you in your absence. The second goes to, and this is the Dr. George Rivera Social Justice Scholarship to Kaya Gonzalez. No. So again, we'll honor you in your absence. We're sending you good vibes. The third goes to, and this is for the Carlotta Walls Lanier Civil Rights Scholarship, Edgar Camacho Moreno. No? Okay, and so our last scholarship, and this is the Minoru Yasui Community Leader Scholarship, goes to Lindsay Mendoza Estrada. No. Okay, so we will wish them well in their absence. I'd like to introduce, we actually have a commencement poet. Melissa Ariana Ramirez is here to share a poem titled A Letter to Us. So, Melissa, please come on up.
Hello, everybody. All right, today I'm going to be sharing with you a poem that I wrote for our capstone course. A letter to us. Dear us, queridos, as we sit here anxiously waiting for what's next, mientras esperamos ansiosamente lo que viene después, look around and breathe. Miren a su alrededor e inhalen. It's us, somos nosotros. If I could change the world, si yo pudiera cambiar el mundo, I would make it listen to you and I. Lo haría escucharte a ti y a mí, to us, a nosotros. We have spent lifetimes being told we must shrink to nothing. Hemos pasado vidas forzados a ser felices con las migajas de un mundo creado por nuestras manos. But look at us, pero mírenos. Here we are, continuing a legacy. Aquí estamos, continuando un legado, creating something, creando algo. They've told us that history is nothing more than the past, yet here we are, anxiously waiting for what's next to come. Planning a future filled with éxito, stories, and knowledge, because in classrooms with no walls, we have learned to hold each other up. If I could change the world, si yo pudiera cambiar el mundo, there would be more of us, determined and strong. Habrían más de nosotros, determinados y fuertes. Anxious and all, we have come a long way. Hemos llegado lejos. Despite the world and its heaviness, we managed to get up, show up, and grow. Nos hemos levantado para estar presentes y crecer juntos. Resilience, that's what makes us different. If I could change the world, si yo pudiera cambiar el mundo, I would make sure that you and I and those around us, ni tú, yo, o los que están a nuestro alrededor, would ever have to change. Tendríamos que cambiar. Be silenced, ser silenciados, or give up a life to build one at the demand of others. O tener que sacrificar una vida para construir otra a la demanda de los demás. But remember, recuerden, we are the echoes of those stories. Somos los ecos de esas historias, stitched in struggle and hope, aquellas cosidas en lucha y esperanza. As we sit here, anxiously waiting for what's next, ansiosos, remember that this is the point. Recuerden que ese es el punto. We aren't meant to stay. No estamos para quedarnos. We are meant to go beyond. Estamos hechos para ir más allá. Beyond the world's expectations, más allá. beyond the statistics, beyond the headlines, más allá, beyond the pages in our books, más allá de las páginas en nuestros libros. If I could change the world, si yo pudiera cambiar el mundo, we would all be more aware. Seríamos más conscientes, aware of our privilege, de nuestro privilegio, the one we hold and the one we yearn for, aquel que tenemos y el que anhelamos. So remember, anxious and all, recuerden, ansiosos y todo, what a privilege. Qué privilegio to sit here and say your name. Qué privilegio escuchar tu nombre, your story, tu historia, and the ways in which you have struggled yet persevered. If I could change the world, si yo pudiera cambiar el mundo, we would be the authors of our own stories. Seríamos autores de nuestras propias historias, not simply the spectacle, no solo un espectáculo. So remember, recuerda, we are meant to go beyond the books. Estamos para ir más allá and write our own. As we sit here, anxiously waiting for what's next to come and wanting to change the world, mientras estamos aquí, ansiosamente esperando lo que se viene después y queriendo cambiar el mundo, remember that when it does, cuando lo hagamos, so will we. Nosotros también cambiaremos. We will have to be willing to fail. Tendremos que estar dispuestos a fracasar. Get up, levantarnos, and maybe fail again, quizás fracasar de nuevo. But through it all, we will grow, and that will be our biggest reward. Pero ante todo, creceremos, y esa será nuestra mayor recompensa. Look around, it's us. Miren a su alrededor. We will change the world. Nosotros cambiaremos el mundo. But remember, pero recuerden, when we do, cuando lo logremos, the world will change us too. El mundo también nos cambiará a nosotros. Thank you. Gracias.
Melissa, as we say in Mexico, te aventaste. You went for it. That was beautiful. Yay. And I think that was the first poem you've written in a long time or ever, so perfect. Where's Veronica at? There you are. Cool. Put my glasses on. There you are. Okay. So I'm super excited to invite Veronica Lamas up here. Veronica, as I mentioned before, was one of our rock star undergrads. I had the privilege of directing her honors thesis back in the day. I think you graduated in 2013, right? Mm-hmm. And her honors thesis was really on the struggles for students sin papeles, students, DACA Dreamer students before DACA Dreamer became kind of a thing, trying to get degrees, higher education. And so, and part of, what has always driven Veronica, you've always, you wanted to be an immigration lawyer. You've always wanted to be an immigration lawyer, in a large part because of the injusticias, just the horrible things that had happened to you and to your familia directly, and the kind of violence and the impacts of that violence that immigration policies have in this country. So I'm super excited, and Veronica, this is just who Veronica is. I guess got tired of, how a lot of the immigration law firms just try to make tons of money off of communities in crisis, and so she started her own, to actually be there to support the community rather than, hey, how much money can I make off of you? So, Veronica.
Good evening, graduates, family, faculty, and community. It is truly an honor to be here with you today. To the class of 2026, congratulations. Not just for earning a degree, but for everything that it took to get here. The late nights, the moments of doubt, the times you questioned whether you belonged. And yet, you are still here. And that matters. I want to begin with my story. On September 25th, 2002, my father was ordered removed. I was 11 years old. I didn't understand immigration law, but I understood what it meant to lose someone that was supposed to be here. I remember the silence in our home, and everything changed overnight. The weight that settled without anyone explaining it to me. And at 11 years old, in the middle of confusion, I made a decision. I decided I wanted to become an attorney. Not because I knew what it meant, but because I knew I never wanted another family to go through what mine went through. I grew up in Montbello, in Denver, a community full of culture, resilience, and strength, but also where stories like mine were not unique. Separation, uncertainty, waiting. For years, my father was not there. And separation is not just silence. It's missed birthdays, moments you can't get back, growing up while someone you love is stuck somewhere else. And during those years, I watched my mom do everything she could to hold our family together. She was a single mom. She worked hard every single day to provide for us, to support us, and to keep us going when things felt uncertain. There were sacrifices she made that I didn't fully understand at the time, but I understand them now. But my family never gave up. We didn't always understand the system. We didn't always have resources, but we kept going. And that's something I want you to remember. Sometimes the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is not giving up. That experience led me to ethnic studies, and ethnic studies changed my life. Because for the first time I understood what my family went through was not random. It was systemic. It was connected to policies, to history, to power. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Ethnic studies also taught me something deeply personal. It taught me to be proud of who I am, to be the proud daughter of immigrants. Ser hija de inmigrantes es un orgullo, es una fuerza, es una historia de lucha y de amor. Because there are moments in this country, like the ones we are living in now, where immigrants are talked about as problems instead of people, where policies and conversations make people feel invisible and unwelcome. And in those moments, it becomes even more important to stand firm in who you are, to say, mi historia importa, mi familia importa, aquí pertenecemos. I stand here today, not in spite of being the daughter of immigrants, but because of it, because of the sacrifices, because of the resilience, because of everything my family went through to give me a chance. But I didn't get here alone. There was someone who changed the trajectory of my life, someone who believed in me more than I believed in myself, Dr. Arturo Aldama. He was my professor and my honors thesis advisor. At the time when I was still trying to figure out what I was capable of, he saw something in me. He pushed me, he challenged me, and he gave me the tools to even imagine law school. And I want to say this to you all. Never underestimate the power of someone believing in you, because sometimes that belief is what keeps you going when you want to give up. So I followed that path. I'm not going to pretend it was easy. I took the LSAT 6 times. I failed the bar exam 4 times. 4. There were moments I felt embarrassed, moments I doubted myself, moments I thought about quitting. There were moments I asked myself, how many times can I fail and still keep going? But every time I thought about giving up, I thought about that 11-year-old version of myself. And I thought about my family. And I realized if my family can wait over 20 years, I could try one more time. And that's the message I want you to take with you today. Don't give up, no se rindan. Not when it's hard, not when it's slow, not when it feels like nothing is working. Because sometimes the breakthrough happens right before you feel like quitting. And here's something I learned along the way. I didn't wait until I had a title. I didn't wait until everything was perfect. Before I had a title, I helped bring my dad back. Not because I had everything figured out, but because I refused to give up. Because I had spent years learning, fighting, and believing it was possible. On September 1st, 2023, after more than 2 decades, we brought him home. That moment, that moment was more than a reunion. It was healing, it was justice. It was proof that even when the path is long, not giving up makes a difference. And even after that moment, I kept going because my journey wasn't finished yet. I took the bar exam again, and this time I passed. And after everything I had been through, after seeing what was possible, I started my own immigration law firm. A firm built for families like mine, for people navigating systems they don't understand, for community that deserves not just representation, but someone who truly sees them. And that's what brings me back to you, because your ethnic studies degree isn't just academic, it is powerful. It means you understand systems, you understand history, you understand people. So I ask you, what are you gonna do with what you've learned? Will you speak up when it's uncomfortable? Will you advocate for people who don't have access? Will you create space when there is none? Will you use your voice even when it shakes? Because every day in my work, I meet people who feel invisible. And sometimes what changes everything is someone that shows up. You can be that person. Not because you have all the answers, but because you understand the questions. To the families here today, this moment belongs to you too. Este logro también es de ustedes. Because behind every graduate is sacrifice, love, and support. To the graduates, you are not here by accident. You are here because of generations who fought to make space for you. And now, you are a generation that will create space for others. So wherever life takes you next, carry your story with pride. Your story is not something to hide. It is your power. And when life gets hard, because it will, remember this. Don't give up. No se rindan. Because one day, you will look back at everything you went through and you will realize, valió la pena. It was all worth it. Class of 2026, go into the world and do more than just succeed. Make impact, make noise. Congratulations, class of 2026. You are ready. Thank you.